I imagine anyone that's been keeping up with Halo Infinite news is more than likely aware of the armour coating system at this point. We got to try it in the flight and it was announced quite a while ago, but to this day it's still quite a bit of a hot topic, and in today's video I want to discuss why. Now, fans weren't particularly happy when this was announced, myself included, as it's replacing the standard colour system that we've had in pretty much every Halo game. So in today's video I'd like to take a look at some of the positive and negative things about armour coatings, my overall thoughts on the topic, and ways that I think that they could be improved over time. So how's it going, Magpies? I'm Magpie Leon, and let's jump straight in. I doubt I really need to explain what the coatings are, but for those of you that aren't aware, it is essentially the new colour system in Halo Infinite. You pick a coating which determines the colour of your Spartan, the pattern, and the different types of details. Some might look a bit more scarred than others, some might have a bit of metallic material, some might look a bit more camouflaged. They all look quite different, they're all different colours, and so far they all seem quite unique from one another. Now obviously the reason that majority of fans dislike this is the fact that it's replacing the standard colour system, and it does sort of limit customization a little bit. A lot of the time in the flight you would see a lot of Spartans with the same colours because they've got the same coating. I noticed the Scorpion Punch one would appear quite a lot, and I mean, one, it is a really cool armour coating, but because of that limitation of you have to pick a coating that can't pick your own colours, it meant that a lot of people would pick the same coating, which sort of hurt the customization a little bit and makes some Spartans a bit less original. It definitely damaged creativity when it comes to designing your Spartan a little bit, and although some players probably don't mind that, some that maybe aren't as bothered about customization wouldn't mind that, a lot of people that do care about how their Spartans looked were definitely very disappointed. I mean, personally, in almost every Halo game, I tend to either go for a white and green look or a black and green look for my Spartan, and the only way that it seems to get that in Halo Infinite at the minute is by buying some Razer headphones, which are about £160. Which leads us on to our next issue that a lot of people have with the armour coatings, which is the fact that a lot of them, they're not exactly unlocked naturally, they're unlocked through the battle pass, or you have to buy them with microtransactions, or you have to buy them with product promotion. Now, from what it sounds like, a lot of the product promotion ones will be coming to the game eventually, but you will still have to pay for them, which is a bit of a shame that colours that you can just pick in prior Halo games, you now have to buy. There was a lot of jokes about how people were saying, like, now I've got to pay $5 for the colour purple, which is definitely what it feels like. Now obviously the coatings are a bit more extensive than just being a colour, they do have different levels of detail and different patterns and stuff, so they are quite unique and can add some levels of detail to your Spartan that weren't available in prior titles, but this does come at a cost. Now you just select a coating and that coating is unchangeable, you can't customise the colours of that coating or anything like that, which is definitely a bit of a shame. Overall, fans were quite upset about this over how limiting it is. It does really prevent a lot of stuff you could do with the customization beforehand. Now, some of the more positive things about the coatings are the fact that, one, it does add quite a bit of unlockable content to the game. There is going to be quite a large variety of ways that you can unlock them. For example, they've confirmed Game Pass Ultimate owners will receive monthly benefits for the game. I imagine coatings and weapon skins will be something through that. But again, that's something you have to pay for. You will be able to buy them through the store. You will be able to get them through the Battle Pass. But there will also be free weekly challenges. It looked like in the flight, after you completed your weekly challenges, you could unlock coatings, and I imagine that will be the case every week with Halo Infinite. There will also be the free events where you can unlock stuff, and I'm going to assume there will be plenty that you can unlock through the campaign. So there is definitely a large variety of ways that you can unlock coatings, and you do get given quite a few when the game starts. Pretty much every main colour in the colour palette is given to you straight away, which is good, which is great and everything, but it's not a combination of any of those colours. You can't combine it. You can't have, like I said, for me personally, I like having like either a black and green or white and green Spartan, or like a black and blue Spartan, and now that's something I'm either going to have to wait until it comes to the game, or I'm going to have to pay for it, or I'm going to have to unlock it, which is quite a shame, since it's not something that I can just do straight away. Another good thing about the coatings is the fact that it technically means that 343 can bring out more content and more stuff for players to unlock quite quickly. They have mentioned that the coating system is definitely easier for them in order to make coatings. It's quite an easy way for them to develop weapon skins, vehicle skins, and coatings all in one, and it's much quicker than how they were making the customization and stuff in Halo 5, which is all well and good. I'm glad that it speeds up time and makes it easier for the developers. I think that's great, and it does mean that we'll likely get quite a lot of these coatings and weapon skins and stuff come out quite quickly, giving us quite a lot of content to unlock early on in the game's life, and obviously later on in the game's life too, so that is a positive. Now the coatings do look really cool, don't get me wrong. Some of the ones in the flight do look amazing, and some of the ones that have been announced but haven't been accessible to players yet or have been shown off, they do look great too, and so far I haven't really seen a bad coating. Now, it is a shame, like, with some of the legendary coatings, there was one that was called, like, Bleached Bone, which although did look cool, it was pretty much just the colour white, and that's a legendary item. Yeah, it did have some levels of detail that weren't on other coatings, which is why it was like a legendary. It sort of did look like a skeleton in a way, if that makes sense. But it's one of them where it's like you're more than likely going to have to pay for that, and it's just the colour white. Similar like how one of the pre-order bonuses at most places is the Zeta Sky skin. That might be the weapon skin, but it's essentially just light blue. And I'm not saying the coating looks bad by any means, but it's quite a simple cosmetic for what you'd like. What you're essentially getting is your pre-order bonus. It's a little bit underwhelming. I'd like to quickly take a bit of time to sort of talk about some ways that I think that coating system could be improved. And this is the first one that I'd like to mention is one that a lot of players have already mentioned, and that is letting us apply a different coating to each piece of armour, a bit like in Destiny 2. I don't know if that was in Destiny 1 as well, but in Destiny 2 you can essentially apply their shaders to every single piece of armour, and I think something like that in Infinite would be very beneficial. Being able to have like the orange arm from the Scorpion Punch, but then having the red shift armour, I think something like that could look really cool if that was something that we could do. Or another one may be giving players the option to get a custom coating, where they can pick from, maybe they can pick colours from coatings they've unlocked or something along those lines, or maybe it can just be a pretty simple one where you can pick 2 different colours. Now I guess the issue there is there would then be no purpose for some of the other coatings, so maybe if they handled it in a way where it was a very simplistic one, and if you wanted some of the cooler patterns for your spawn, you would have to buy those coatings. Or I guess a third and final way that it could be improved, maybe you can actually change some of the colours or change some things about your coating. I think that would be really cool. Like maybe change part of the Scorpion Punch and change the orange arm into a green one. That would be something that I think would be really cool. Overall, I don't think the coatings terrible. I do tolerate them. A lot of the coatings do look really cool, and I've already had a lot of fun unlocking them. There's plenty that I've already got for when the full game comes out, and I've always been quite happy typing in one of my codes on Waypoint when I've brought like the pop figure or one of the other, or something else that gives me a code for Infinite, and putting the code in and seeing that I've got a new coating. Like, I can't wait to see what a lot of them look like. As disappointed as I am in the system, I do tolerate them. I don't hate them or anything. I was pretty angry about it when it was first announced, as most people were, and a lot of people are still really angry about it, and I get that, I really do. As I said, I was angry myself too, as it does replace the normal colour system, which is something that's been there forever, and I do think that at the minute, from what it looked like in the flight, it has hurt the creativity that players have in terms of customising the spawn, but I think in the full game, when you're going to have a lot more coatings, that won't necessarily be the case. Anyway folks, I think I've pretty much said everything I want to say there. If you have enjoyed the video, make sure to leave a like. Let me know what you think of the coatings down in the comments. But yeah, that's all from me today, and I'll catch you in the next one.